Hey. Welcome to my channel. If you are new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. And I hope everyone's having a good night. So the reason why I started early is I may have to go pick up Phoenix because Sage is away at a state competition. So I was like, you know what? I know this is going to take a while, so maybe I should start early. So that's why I started early, and I had a 10-minute intro for everyone that thinks I was starting at 7:30 or 7:15. So there's that. A couple things first. I know that I had not, hey, good vibes. I know that I wasn't originally discussing this case. This afternoon, I was making candles and ZavGirl was on. So I popped ZavGirl on and she was talking about the case. And I'm listening and I'm like, oh my God, I think I figured this out. And for those of you that know the case, if anything that I say tonight has already been discussed or covered in the case, please let me know. But everyone in ZavGirls who have been following the case didn't say like, oh, that theory's been squashed already or anything. So yeah. So there's that. So I'm going to get right into it. I just got really tired. But we are going to watch some of JLR's live. So if you were in ZavGirl's live, I'm sorry for making you do it again. But it's really important for me to, once I explain my theory, for everyone to piece it together by watching where I came up with it. Oh, and that's another thing. If you want to super chat me, go ahead and hit super chat. It is a brand new month. So, you know, it's good that it's a new month. And let's start the new month off right. If you want to join membership, go ahead and join member. If you want to join Patreon, join Patreon. If you want to hate on me, go right ahead too. No, not trafficking. All right. And here we go. There was something else I was going to tell you guys first. I forgot. Oh. Okay. So I have been like all day today. I was happy birthday. I was kind of flipping through stuff. And I want you guys to know that the city of Moscow is safe. How do I know this? Because Bullhorn Betty went on a live and said that her whole purpose for being there is to keep the community safe and let them know that the police are protecting them. That is her whole purpose for being there. So I want everyone in Moscow to know that you guys are safe, the police are working, and Betty Bullhorn tells you. I swear to you guys, it's on her video. I was cracking up. I was like, wow, I thought my ex was a bad narcissist. I think she takes the cake. She literally said this. I swear to you. She's like, and I couldn't believe it. And I normally don't listen to her. I'm like, well, she's not doing anything bad. You know, I'm doing stuff. And I'm like, I wanted somebody to listen to. And I couldn't believe she said it. She really, truly said that she is only there to let the people know, let the community know that the cops are doing everything they can do. Okay, Betty. That's a good reason to go all the way out there. So yeah, I thought that was funny. My second thing that I want to bring up is, can someone please tell me why Chris McDouche was there? I would love to know why Chris McDouche was there. Standing behind a police officer. I don't know. They say she spit on someone, but I'm not really sure if she actually spit on them or you couldn't really hear. My hearing isn't good to begin with. So I couldn't really hear. I know he accused her of it, and then she said something like, I spit on the ground or something like that. So I don't really know. But yeah, guys, this shit was funny as hell. Go check it out. But it's not a cold case, Danielle. That's someone in ZavGirl said that too. That it's part of the cold case, but the cold case foundation, it's not a cold case yet. I was really bothered by it too, Sarah. I totally agree with you. It was fucking weird. Very, very weird. I can't stand him, Samantha. I really can't. I never did. Never liked him. Thought he was an idiot. Always have. He was invited with the cold case to help with the investigation. Do they know he's like going senile? Just curious. She admits to spit on the ground. She didn't spit on him because he would have pressed charges. Gotcha. Okay. Hey, Nicole. Yeah, it was really weird. Really, really weird. Has been a huge resource for the Vaughan family, is what's being said. I don't know. I just can't with it. He is the number one tragedy pimp. I totally agree. But it was like he had to stand behind the cop. He couldn't just be on the side. He had to be like, stand on the side. He had to stand right beside him. Hold on, I want to read that. Okay, Jeanette. No, it's called reality. There's a big difference between being bitter and nasty and reality. The reality is Betty is a legend in her own fucking mind. So, okay. Yeah, he did not need to be on camera, but that was his own thing that he wanted to be on camera. I was like, whoa. All right. So I'm going to, because unlike other creators, I jump right in. I'm going to tell you guys my theory, and then we're going to watch JLR's, and you're going to see where my theory fits together. Anyone that's familiar with the case, please let me know if this has been talked about by the police, anything, because again, I didn't follow the case, so I don't know the ins and outs of it. You know, just Samantha, I really thought it was going to be a bad interview. Like the first half, I'm like, this is such a fucking waste of time. But the second half reveals a lot. And that's where I got my theory from. So check this out. All right. This guy, Adrien, the guy, Adrien, hold on one second. Jeanette, I'm going to address you one last time. Betty gets off her ass because people pay her to do so. I get off my ass at a regular job. I actually work for a living. I own my own business. So I don't use grubbing on the internet my only source of income. Okay? Like Betty does. If my people said, here's thousands of dollars to go stand in front of somebody's house, I would be happy to. But my crowd is much more mature than that. So move along with your badass self. All right. So Adrien is the black guy at Boo Sheet. I wasn't sure. I was kind of following it, but okay. So now take a look at what the two that are arrested, what they look like. And I don't want to stereotype people. Let me pull it up. I don't want to stereotype people. I don't want to like make it like a bad thing or anything. Okay. I'm going to use my cover photo because it's the easiest to show. Let me just move this. Oh, I don't want to cover Michael. All right. So I moved all this around. Hang on. Whoop. I got like too many things going on. All right. So this dude, come on. He looks like is someone that's into like child pornography. He really does. And his wife, not much better. They absolutely look like they're into child porn. And they look like they could be into some shady shit. Now let's look at these two. Let's take this guy first. What connection do you think this guy would have with this guy? Just from looks alone. This guy doesn't seem like he would hang out with these two. Just saying. This one, maybe. But what I can see from everything that I have studied, and I don't mean on this case, I mean in general. This is like a drug connection, or this is some kind of connection, okay? All the pictures look like there's combined, they don't look like they have a high IQ. I agree. But from all the cases that I've done, I have no doubt that they're all part of something. And what could they all be part of? They could definitely all be part of some undercover internet sex ring, okay? Child porn ring. And the reason I say that, this guy, okay, we learned from JLR's video that, I don't know, they had some kind of taxi company or whatever. So this guy, Adrien, who the police are looking to question, flies into Idaho from California. He's from California. Granny, let me finish. Flies in from California. She allegedly doesn't know him, according to what Brandon says, okay? She allegedly doesn't really know him and just goes to pick him up at the airport and then asks him to stay with them for a few days. Why? The only way that you would ask some stranger to hang out with you is if you met him on the internet. So he ends up staying with them for a few days, and then he ends up flying back to California. Yeah, this is all in the interview I heard today. Then he flies back to California, like 3 or 4 days after Monkey went missing. Choo-choo, thank you, Stone Gator. Right after he went missing, then all of a sudden, he goes back to Cali. Police can't find him. Nobody can find him. Okay, according to Brando, she allowed many to stay. But why was he coming to Idaho to begin with? That's what makes me believe they're all met on the internet. This was a targeted thing. They knew exactly what they were doing. Why they did it, I don't know. Maybe it had to do with some kind of porn. Maybe it had something. We're going to listen to it again, Janessa. And yeah, that's how she allegedly met him, but then took him to the house and said, yeah, you could stay with me for a few days, because that's normal. That's perfectly normal. That's what normal people do. So they already knew each other. This had to do with something online. They met online. He flew out, and I believe Monkey was targeted. I absolutely believe that these people, these two slugs, said there's a little boy who's always running around when nobody's watching. There's a little boy. Now, did they know what he was going to do? Maybe not. Did they know who this guy was? Allegedly, no. But I do believe that Adrien did this to him. Now, did this to Monkey. Now, why do I say that too? There's something that I've said in other channels that I haven't said on my own channel, or I may have, I don't know, but I want you guys to understand something. I know drug dealers that would bury things in their neighbor's yard. They would bury stashes in their neighbor's yard. Why? So if the cops came and raided the house, guess what? You're not going to find anything because it's over at the neighbors. So I don't doubt for 1 second that Adrien is part of this ring, is part of this ring, and that's why he came up there to begin with. Who buried him? Who buried Monkey? Now, remember, what the cops said today is that they do believe he was buried and then moved. That's what the cops said today. And I agree with them. But I also think that he took the bones, he took Monkey's body to the airport and got rid of it along the way. Especially if she drove them back to the airport. So Why he wanted to kill him, I don't know. Why he could have wanted to kill him, I don't know. I have no reason why anybody would want to kill a little boy. But it's happened more than once. A lot of people want to kill kids for what reason, nobody knows. Now, like I said, even if you think it's a little far-fetched, when you hear Brandon's interview, you're going to see how it all comes together. That's why I wanted to tell you my theory first and not after we watch it, because I'm telling you, I'm really convinced I'm right. Now, again, I could be wrong, but it all makes sense. It all makes perfect sense that Adrien came down, knew exactly why he was coming down, knew everything, and they buried Monkey in the backyard at first. They didn't have a choice. They had, what were they going to do with the body? The cops were looking for him. Everybody was looking for him. They had to bury him. But then as soon they knew the cops were going to come back because they never found him. So they took him and they dumped him off at the airport. After watching the press conference, and I really mean this, I was crying. And I don't even know this case that well, and I was crying. Because as a mother, I don't think they're ever going to get his bones back. And that's a horrible, horrible feeling that nobody should have to, no parent should not know, especially when the cops believe they're dead. So it's not even like this kid has, like there's hope or something that maybe he's out there somewhere, and another family took him and another family picked him up or something like that. I can understand having that kind of hope, but the cops have really given them no hope. No, I don't believe that, Snooper. I think this was targeted. I think Adrien came from California to purposely kidnap a child. Who, what, when, where, why, or how, I don't know. But if Brandon is telling the truth, now I say that if Brandon is telling the truth about the things he said, then my theory has to be right. If Brendan is lying, then it throws my whole theory off. No, I don't know. I think Adrien came there specifically for a boy or a girl or a kid. Maybe he planned on bringing him back. Maybe he planned on actually kidnapping him and something went wrong. I don't know. Yeah, but you know what, Jerry? That's because they have two people behind bars. But I'm not sure no, they haven't found him. So who hasn't seen the press conference? Have many of you guys not seen the press conference today? Because I'll play that too. If a lot of people haven't seen, sorry, I get the hiccups. If a lot of people haven't seen it, it's not that long either. If Brendan is credible, which he was telling things I wouldn't have, which makes me lean towards yes. I agree. You'll see, Janessa. I'm going to play it. Well, first things first, though, he doesn't believe that they have anything to do with it. I don't believe that Brandon has anything to do with any of it. I think he's just a big mouth. Hold on, let me find it. Oh my God. Hold on. I don't care. TikTok out-of-state trip. The dog, the detour, getting stuck in mud. Car breaks down. Mechanic says car issues are due to mud in the engine. Ellie don't detour traffic to a mid-pit. That's, huh?
After several weeks.
This is only a clip of it. I mean, worst case scenario, if I can't find it right, I'll just go to ZavGirl's live. Michael. Is there a reason I can't find this press conference anywhere? I'm just going to watch it on ZavGirl's panel. Makes it easier. All right.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I just wanted to start out by saying thank you to our media partners. Thanks for being here. Thank you for the continued coverage of the Michael Vaughan case. I also wanted to begin by just giving my sincere thanks to all the law enforcement agencies, local businesses, and members of the public who helped us over the course of the last year and a half of this intense investigation. More recently, during the last 3 weeks, we could not have completed the work necessary without the selfless help of others. The community support has been absolutely incredible.
Like, I'm sorry, dude, but why the fuck are you on camera? Nobody else is on camera. Why are you on camera? He's such a loser.
As you know, from the time Michael went missing, this has been an all hands on deck investigation, and it remains very active and an ongoing investigation. You can't take one of our most precious citizens from us and ever expect us to stop. During the course of this investigation to date, we received credible information that the remains of Michael Vaughan could be found in the backyard at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland. As a result, the Fruitland Police Department obtained a search warrant for the residence along with the front and backyards. That search warrant was served on November 11th. It was a Friday. We served that late in the evening. Upon entry, officers encountered Sarah Wondra, one of the known occupants of the home, and Sarah was subsequently arrested based on probable cause that she had knowledge of Michael's death and failed to report that death to law enforcement. The following day, the Fruitland Police Department, joined by the Idaho State Police, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, the Fruitland Fire Department, and the Fruitland Public Works Department, began a very methodical excavation of the backyard of the Wondra's home. During that excavation process, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, Mountain States detection dogs deployed multiple certified human remains detection dogs on the property, all of them alerting to the presence of human remains.
Yes, Chris McDonough is there. No idea why, but he probably called them and said, I can help with the investigation, because that's what he does.
Ground penetrating radar was also used and deployed, detecting anomalies in the backyard. We completed the excavation of the entire backyard and removed over 250 yards of dirt. Prior to backfilling the yard, the dirt was meticulously sifted for any potential human remains.
Not for nothing, Jerry, but he gets close to anybody that'll let him.
We did not find Michael's remains. Although the remains of Michael Vaughan were not recovered, we strongly believe, based on evidence, that Michael was abducted and is deceased, and that his remains were buried and later moved from the property. As of today, the whereabouts of his remains are unknown. However, the investigation is active, fluid, and ongoing. Once the excavation was complete, we conducted a thorough search of the Wondra's residence. The search was productive, and additional investigative evidence was recovered and is currently being processed. Evidence suggests that there are the following individuals who are currently in custody are involved in the abduction of Michael Vaughan.
She's
This
scary
is Sarah
looking.
Wondra, 35 years old. Sarah lives at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland and was living there at the time of Michael's disappearance. We believe that Sarah has firsthand knowledge and is involved in Michael's abduction. Sarah Wondra is currently being held at the Payette County Jail for failing to report a death to law enforcement. This is Sarah's husband, Stacey Wondra, 30 years old, a male. Stacey was also living at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland and was living there at the time of Michael's disappearance. We believe that Stacey has firsthand knowledge and is involved in the abduction of Michael Vaughan. Stacey's currently being held in the Washington County Jail on unrelated charges. Now, the next individuals I'm going to introduce you to, let's go at the bottom there. This is Brandon Shurtliff, 30 years old, of Kuna, Idaho. Brandon was living with Sarah and Stacey Wondra at 1102 Red Wing Street at the time of Michael's disappearance. And we believe Brandon has firsthand knowledge of Michael's abduction. Brandon is currently believed to be in North Dakota. Adrien Lucienne, 32-year-old male out of Toledo, Ohio. Adrien was staying with Sarah and Stacey Wondra at 1102 Red Wing Street at the time of Michael's disappearance. And we believe that Adrien has firsthand knowledge of Michael's abduction. Adrien's currently believed to be in Toledo, but floats between Ohio and California. I strongly encourage Shurtliff and Lucienne.
Now, let me ask you, does he look like some world traveler? That he's always going between Ohio, California, Idaho? He doesn't seem like a world traveler to me.
And to contact the Fruitland Police Department detectives as the window of time for talking and cooperation is coming to a close. This remains an active and ongoing investigation.
I was thinking he probably did, and I was hoping he did. Leslie, I was going to ask someone if he had turned it in, because from the press conference, it kind of sounded like they did, that he did.
Investigation with conversations taking place with the Payette County Prosecutor's Office about Michael's case and those individuals involved. We also believe that there are others associated with the Wondras, Shurtliff and Lucienne, who may have knowledge of Michael's abduction.
And that right there makes me wonder if he's talking about an internet ring, if he's talking about an online ring, and that's how they're connected. Because that hit me when he said that, and I was like, that's it. They already know that there's some kind of online ring going, but they haven't been able to find the people because it was probably shut down. That's part of my theory, Sammy. So hearing this again, it makes me think I'm even more on point. Sarah's involved in abduction. Brandon said he was with Sarah all day. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that.
And I would strongly encourage them to come forward and speak with my detectives. When we finally reach the conclusion of this investigation, and I can assure you that we will, all of those who have knowledge of Michael's disappearance and have failed to report or hindered our investigation will be pursued. There's a moment in time to do the right thing and bring your information forward and cooperate. And that moment in time is now. To date, the Fruitland Police Department has received over 1,500 tips and leads, and we received many new leads since this phase of the investigation has began. We continue to ask our community for support and patience as we continue to aggressively work this case. We also ask that the Vaughan family's privacy continue to be respected and we'll continue to post updates as information can be shared. Tips can be sent to find Michael at fruitland.org or to Crime Stoppers at 343cops.com or the Fruitland Police Department at 208-452-3110. Tipsters can remain anonymous.
See, Chris McDouche, he didn't say contact Chris. He didn't say go to Chris's YouTube channel. And he certainly didn't say contact the Cold Case Foundation. So, Chris, go home.
So before I open it up for questions, I just want to make it clear that this is a very active and ongoing investigation. It's super important that we maintain the integrity of this investigation. So I'd ask you that you'd please tailor your questions accordingly. With that, I'll stand for a few questions. Alex?
So if Michael's remains are not found, will Sarah have to be released, or do you think that she will remain in jail once you locate the other people that you involved?
It is my belief that she will remain in custody. But again, we're in talks with the Fayette County prosecutor, and those talks are ongoing as far as charging.
You can't speak to any additional evidence that was found in the house, like you said, you can't.
I cannot. Again, I just don't want to jeopardize the integrity of this investigation. Leslie?
Stacey Wondra is listed in as an inmate in Washington County Jail, but he's not on the Idaho court records because it's currently with federal hold. Are there any other charges aside from hers that have been filed in relation to this?
Not that I'm aware of. Not at this point. Go ahead.
What was different about the tip you received in this case after, 1,500 tips over the last almost year and a half? What led to the arrest and search? Can you share any more about what led you to that home?
I don't want to get into the details on that, but I can assure you that the tip that we received was credible. I also released that in an earlier statement that it came from one of the occupants of the home, which
That's Brandon. That's JLR's interview. Is exactly what it sounds like.
led to that. Yes.
I'm sure that you guys in your investigation are following social media pages, which a lot of us have looked at. And one of them indicates a trip out of state taken within the time frame. Without hampering the investigation, you guys are at least aware of that trip taken to get a dog.
We are currently aware of a lot. And so I would tell you that you just need to trust us and trust in this investigation. We're making tremendous progress. We're comfortable with where we're at. I appreciate that question.
So Sarah Wondra didn't pass her mental evaluation for when they were in the hearing and things. Do you think this affects the investigation at all, considering that to be the case?
I do not at this point.
There have been mentions of a neighbor's yard. Has that been searched in any way or taken into consideration in this investigation?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we'll be deploying ground penetrating radar in the neighbor's yard tomorrow. So we haven't done that yet, but we will. That's on the agenda.
Now, let me tell you something. If I was Monkey's parents, this is coming from a parent. I would say, I don't care if she gets out of jail. Tell me where my son is. Doing a heavy plea bargain might be the only way she ever gets her son's remains. And that's just me, though. I would go for the weakest one, which would be the girl, and say, you'll give her full immunity. I want my son's remains. That's just me, though. There's really nothing left in this press conference, so I don't run out of time. I'm going to switch it. And I can't stand looking at McDouche's face anymore. All right. He's a YouTuber, Jerry. He's an ex-cop who wants to still be a cop. That's what I'm saying, Samantha. That as a mom, that's what I would do. And I can't say what somebody else is going to do or what they should do, but that's personally what I think they should do. I'd give full immunity. Just give me my son's remains, you know? Guy's got a lot of videos.
Riches and
All right. Let me just say the first half of this is pointless. There's nothing in the first half.
investigate what we should do for the day and how to help people, and we believe in doing good to the community, and it'll come store with a light bar on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know his last name at all. I just know that he was Adrien, and he had like kind of an afro. Carson had his pic.
Now let's go back to that day Michael went missing, right? So
Yeah.
that morning, where were you all at on July 27th, 2021, the day Michael was reported missing? Where were you guys at in the morning?
Okay.
No. I'm not talking about being involved. That's not what I'm talking about, Kate. I said nothing about them being involved. That's not my theory at all. So before you come in here with false facts, learn your facts.
So earlier that day, I spent the night there because we came in towing my car from my mom's to their house. And we came back over there. And then right as soon as we were getting the car back to the neighborhood, the whole neighborhood was on high alert looking for the little boy, Michael Vaughan. And they said he went missing right that day earlier, right before we came in with the car we were towing. And then right as soon as that happened, I went out and tried to look for the kid with Sarah. We got in her little Toyota car and drove to the gas station and drove around after we got out of the pickup, and then tried to look in the field to see if he went down by the river or if he could be out just wandering lost. And, that's what hit my mind first. And then from there, it was me and Sarah. We went to the gas station, got some milk, and then did this and that and came back. And then right when we got back, Carson had his pickup next door with a light bar on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, hey, we need to start this up and kind of go look in the neighborhood and the farmer field and the river. We got to go find this missing person report that just came out, So that's what was on my mind right when it happened. But earlier, before that day, before we towed the car, we went to Applebee's. And
What time was that?
That was earlier in the day after we woke up and had breakfast and watched TV and coffee. And then we went, me and Sarah and one of our other friends that was there visiting for like a week or so because he came in from the airport. He wanted to go visit his family over by Nampa area somewhere by the Karcher Mall.
Who was that?
So that's Adrien.
Is that the Adrien Hernandez?
No, that's a different guy. Adrien Hernandez, I was locked up and incarcerated with him at the Canyon County Jail earlier this year. And he was just there for like some kind of a quarrel or marijuana or just some little petty charge. And he's just there for that. But this Adrien that I'm talking about was a different person.
Who? Like, what's his last name?
I don't know his last name at all. I just know that he was Adrien and he had like kind of an afro. And we went and did kind of a YouTube video that day where we were trying to make music and kind of like a car crash scene.
Mm-hmm.
And we were hanging out with him doing that earlier. And then after that, me, Adrien, and Sarah went to Applebee's where we dropped him off there after me and Sarah got a chicken sandwich and a soda pop over there at the Popeyes restaurant.
Who bought the Applebee's? You were.
Can I just state, I don't know what the fuck I ate yesterday, let alone a year ago. I mean, you're talking, this is a year ago already. This guy remembers exactly what he ate and where he went. Yeah, I'm not buying that.
For him, or who paid?
Sarah took me to lunch over at Popeyes, and she was going to buy a sandwich for me, Adrien, and her. But he said, my family's here. I want to see him. So I'm going to go to Applebee's and go over here and have dinner with them or lunch with them real quick. And then give me a little bit of time to do that. And then you guys come back and get me.
Yeah.
So we did that. And in the meantime, me and Sarah were bored just kind of driving around the mall. and we didn't know what to do. So I drove back over to my house to get a water bottle and fill it up with water to bring back over to their house because I didn't like their water.
Yeah.
And then during that time, after that, we came back to the mall and we picked up Adrien, me and Sarah, and then all three of us, Sarah, Adrien, and we hopped in the car and we went back to the Fruitland house where they do their taxi business.
All right. So where was Stacey during all of this?
He was back at the house.
So Stacey said, you think Stacey stayed home all that day? Stayed home?
We left him there at the house.
See, my feeling was they dropped Adrien off to get rid of his remains, and then they were going to come pick him back up. Or Monkey was with them and he wasn't dead yet. And when they came back to get Adrien, Monkey was deceased.
I don't know if he stayed there the whole time or not, to be honest.
Was anyone else there with him?
I don't think so. I think it was just him home alone at that point.
And
that was before we went to tow.
And they had dogs and cats there?
Yes, sir. Yeah, they had one hound dog and like 3 or 4 tuxedo cats.
So Stacey's there. You guys go out. What was Adrien doing at the mall?
He was just visiting his girlfriend and his son. And then after that, we went over to Macy's and kind of went in there and shopped around for clothes a little bit. And we were playing on our iPads and just taking pictures, goofing off. And then from there, we go back, and then that's how it goes.
Well, what about the afternoon from the mall to you going back to the neighborhood? Did you guys go anywhere else? Stop anywhere else?
We just went over to a pawn shop, I think, just kind of look around at the pawn shop a little bit. And then I think he bought like an iPad, or he was trying to get a new iPad, I think.
That's Adrien, right?
Right. Yes, sir. And then I think he bought one there. We went to the pawn shop, bought an iPad, and then came back and we were just chilling.
So what car were you guys all in?
We were in that little Toyota 2016 Toyota Corolla.
Okay. What is that? What color is it? White?
It's a blue one.
A blue. Okay.
Yeah.
And I remember you were telling me that they were towing your car. You told me earlier in another conversation that your car was being towed by their truck that day.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
So where's that come into play here?
So I asked them earlier that day if we could use their pickup to go to my house, my mom's house, and get my Mercedes Benz and tow it back over there so I could work on it if I was going to be hanging out over there doing the taxi business.
Yeah. So when did you guys go over there to get your car?
I think it was around like 6 or 7 at night.
6 or 7. Then you're saying while you're coming back, that's when you noticed everyone searching for Michael?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I remember going to the gas station. We were probably at the gas station filling up like right at 7.
Right at 7. What gas station?
It was the Chevron right there just up from their house.
Yeah. So where you were seeing people out there looking for Michael, or you were seeing police?
I was just seeing police cars cruising around, and I was seeing a lot of like the neighbors going out in their cars cruising around, and just like the whole subdivision from the left side to the right side. They were all just out, everybody walking around and looking, and flashlights. Search and rescue was there, police, everything.
But how did you know they were looking for Michael?
Because so when we were pulling into the subdivision, Sarah was driving the pickup, and she stopped and talked to the neighbor that was coming down the road the opposite way.
Mm-hmm.
And she stopped right there in the middle of the road, and they both opened their doors and they started talking to each other right there.
Okay. And you told me you never seen Michael Vaughan before in your life prior.
Right. I never met him or his parents ever before. I just know that they're neighbors of where I was staying over there with the Wondras. They live like diagonal.
Yeah. What about the okay. Yeah, I got so many questions. All right. So Adrien, where's he from?
I think he's from California somewhere.
So, but how did he get up there? Like, how did he end up there in Idaho?
He just flew in from California to come see his son and his old girlfriend or whatever.
But where did Sarah meet him? Like, how does she know him?
I don't know. I think he just randomly like called their phone one day from the airport and said, can you give me a ride from here to there or whatever? And that's probably how those two met.
So this is where my theory starts. Nobody gets a ride from a cab driver and then stays with them. The only people that do that are drug addicts or people that met online. But I don't believe, as creepy as Brandon is, I don't believe Brandon is guilty of anything. I think Brandon doesn't know anything or didn't know anything, because certain things he's saying just makes me think that he really doesn't know anything. Like, he really doesn't know how they met or anything. But this is where my theory started coming together.
Yeah, because, obviously, Sarah, according to this arrest affidavit, she's claiming that this Adrien guy helped bury Michael in her yard. That's what she said, according to the arrest affidavits, or the neighbors. She also said the neighbor's yard, too.
Right.
So
Yeah,
people are wondering, who's Adrien?
Yeah, he's just some kid that came here from California for a little bit to visit his son and his old girlfriend.
Did he get arrested at all?
No, he didn't get arrested or talked to or nothing.
So how long was he there at their house for?
He was only there for like a week up to 2 weeks tops.
After Michael went missing?
After Michael went missing, I'm pretty sure he was there for like a couple days after that as well.
Okay, so he was there about a week and a half prior to Michael being missing. Then Michael went missing, and then a couple days later, he goes back to California.
I think so, yeah.
Do you know where in California?
I have no idea.
You're in a hot tub. I see you're in a hot tub. What's that, the North Dakota life?
Yeah, that's North Dakota life, trying to stay warm out here right now.
Yeah. Interesting. So interesting. Now, did you know?
Normally, I would agree with you on that JLR is too hard to listen to. And at first, that's what I thought he was doing in this, like, oh my God, this is going to be forever. But because of his line of questioning, it opens it up to a lot more. And I think the police are happy that he has asked so many questions. I think he did a pretty good job on this one. And I normally wouldn't say that. I think he asked off the wall questions. But in this particular case, I think he did a pretty good job.
Know that, like, Stacey had like crazy criminal record in the past of being in the feds and locked up and all that kind of stuff. Did you know that?
Yes, sir. Yeah, he talked to me previously before that, and he said that he got locked up for like a year or two because he lied on a federal application to buy a gun or something at a store.
So you've seen him with guns. Like, why would he still have guns if he already got arrested for it? Did he just not care? Or?
I think that was it or something. Because at first he said, hey, I know that you're not a felon and you can have guns. Do you want me to try to find you a gun? And I said, no, I already have a gun. I don't need to get another one, But if you are selling that other little 17 or whatever, I'll buy it if I get money from you guys paying me from doing taxiing, That was our first previous conversation.
Yeah. So, yeah, I wonder why he was so interested in you getting a gun, Like, why does he want others to get a gun? Is he like fascinated with guns?
Yeah, I think he comes from a background where like him and his grandpa used to hunt back in the day before he got in trouble. Like when he went out with other people that were responsible, he probably did some hunting.
So some people are saying that does Sarah have any kids that you knew of or had kids?
No, sir.
See, some people speculated that if Sarah is involved and she got arrested, but people are speculating, hey, maybe Sarah did it because she wanted a kid on her own because she couldn't have kids, or what do you think?
Hold on just a second here. I'm in an interview right now, so I'm gonna have to do this real quick. I think that she couldn't have kids because her husband Stacey said that he got his nuts crushed in a bull riding rodeo accident or whatever, blah blah blah. He said he used to bull ride and a bull stepped on his thing and crushed it, so he couldn't have him.
So he couldn't give her a child then.
Right, and he wanted a kid and she really didn't.
Oh, she didn't want a child.
No, she didn't really want to have a kid, but he was trying to push that on her.
So is it possible? Okay, so you're with Sarah and you're with Adrien out or getting your car and bringing it back. Is it possible Stacey was home left alone and did something and maybe like went out and snatched Michael? I mean, how do you do you guys know about Stacey's whereabouts at the time?
I personally don't. So I'm saying that could be a possibility.
Because there was no one else there with him, correct?
Right. Yeah. Yes, sir.
But you're saying that you were with Sarah all that day. You and Adrien and Sarah were all together throughout that whole day, starting in the morning. And you didn't she didn't go off on her own or do anything?
No, I was with Sarah that whole day and Adrien. And then Stacey was left home alone.
Stacey was left home alone. What there when you guys were out, what cars were there with Stacey?
I think he had his little Cadillac Escalade that he cruised around at that time.
What color was that?
It was a white one, an older one that he traded his pickup in for. That when that pickup started to have a couple issues, instead of getting it fixed, he just traded it in.
Yeah. See, because he's left alone and no one else is there with him. I wonder if he ventured out. Yeah. Okay. For instance, when you guys got back, was he in the house?
Yeah, he was in there. He was in there on the couch. I'm pretty sure.
What was he doing?
Just watching TV.
Like he never even went anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, because he's left alone. It seems like you three have it. You guys are each other's alibis, I guess. And you're saying you did whatever throughout the day, and I appreciate you talking to me. I mean, somebody that would be guilty wouldn't be telling all this in a sense, But people just want answers.
Yeah, and I want answers too. I don't think Adrien did it, and I don't think Sarah did it. But Stacey, I know that sometimes he's lied to me and he's lied to others, and he says he'll do something and then he really don't do it. And I got after him about that, and I was trying to teach him that you're not supposed to do that in life, and then he'll get sometimes mad.
That's another thing that caught my ear. Why is he, if he allegedly only met Adrien that day, why is he vouching for him? How can he possibly vouch for someone that he's never spoken to, that he's never met, that he knows nothing about? But he's going to vouch that he didn't think he did it. There's no way. But Stacey, who he's known, he must have done it. That don't make sense to me. I actually think Stacey didn't do it. I think Adrien did it.
At me, So that's where my trail kind of ends, and that's where I'm kind of curious in my own head.
With
and
Stacey.
With Stacey, I'd like to talk to him personally, and if he was here right now, I'd be talking with him and say, "Hey, I know you and me didn't. I know that you."
Yeah, I do. She did. Sarah had said that that's Adrien. Either Adrien did it and they all helped bury him, or something. I forgot exactly what she said, but it was along those lines. But why is he vouching for Adrien?
You broke my watch, and you thought I wanted to steal your girl or this or that, but that was all accusations. It's not true. I was just there to help you guys work, make a business, and pay the bills. That was my whole objective.
So he was accusing you of trying to get with Sarah?
Yes, sir. Like every day.
Every day. But he didn't kick you out of the house?
Right, because she liked me a little bit because I was kind of the cool guy on the block, hanging out, trying to save the day. And he got a little bit jealous of it, and I wanted to kind of shut that down and say, hey, we're all friends. You keep your wife. You guys get along, and you guys stop doing that, kind of like a counselor or a mediator.
Was he ever did you ever see him do any violence?
No. He pretended to try to be a tough guy, try to do that kind of stuff, but he never did it when I was around.
He's a pretty big dude.
He's a heavy feller. He's like 450, 500 pounds.
So, I mean, if you see him walk, does he get tired when he walks a short distance?
Yeah, that's true.
So it's interesting. So because he's left alone, you guys are out. Michael Vaughan goes missing around, we'll say 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And, what happened? Where was Starkey? Where was Carson Starkey?
I think he was driving for another company at that time because he was mad at Sarah and Stacey.
I don't believe it was an accident at all. I think that's why Adrien came down there to begin with. I don't buy the whole girlfriend story. I really believe this was an online connection. And watching the press conference again, I think they know it too. That's why they keep saying that there's many people involved. Well, how would they know there's many people involved? That tells me it's online, that they all met online.
Stacey, because they were kind of trying to give him a little bit of bluff or a little bit of grief, and he was like, you know what, I can go work somewhere else or be part of somebody else. I don't have to sit here and take your guys' nonsense.
So, interesting. What about the Cesar Garudo? What's the deal with him? Is he involved? Could he be involved? Was he around their house?
I know that he went to their house like one time. Other than that, me and Stacey went to his house one time, and he had a couple other friends over there, and they were just kind of hanging out and chilling with a couple other people.
But Cesar was not around the house the time Michael went missing.
As best as I know, yeah, that's true.
Interesting. So you never seen Michael. Have you ever hear Sarah or Stacey talk about the bonds or mention the bonds or say anything?
Never once. Not even the only time I heard them ever.
And that's the other thing, Winter Storm, that allegedly Michael was walking around the neighbors. He could have easily knocked on their door and it was a matter of circumstance. I don't know, but I still think that the circumstances surrounding it are not right. That I think they all knew each other. Adrien flew down from online. They all met online. This was targeted. They were out to get a child, something.
Mention the Vaughns is when they stopped the car that day and they said, hey, there's somebody that's missing in the neighborhood. His name's Michael Vaughan. Do you guys know him or know where he went? That was the first time that came up to my attention. And then as far as I know, they both said, no, we don't know where he's at. Let's go help look for him from that point.
Interesting. Yeah. Man, I'm so scatterbrained here because it's just a mystery. It's a mystery.
It is. That's all it is right now at this point. Yeah.
But you're assuring, like, if the Vaughns were watching right now, what would you say to Michael Vaughn's family?
I would say, don't lose hope. Keep your head up, keep your chin up, and know that he might still be out there somewhere because they never brought him into their house when I was there, not once. No little kids ever even came into that house, and I was there like a good majority of the time running a taxi business. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And the people that I knew that was there, they seemed like they were all right, decent people that weren't trying to do that. They were just trying to have normal everyday lives, you know?
So what's your family think about what's going on? Did you tell them?
Yeah, I told them. The police and the detectives and everything, they've been at my mom's house since I've been gone doing like siding in Montana and stuff, trying to pay bills, and they're beside themselves and just scared and freaking out. Don't know what's happening, what's going on.
So do you feel like the detectives think you're involved, or they just want to ask you more about the Wondras? What is the detectives' reasons of coming to you?
I think they want to find out more about like the Wondras and their lifestyle of how they are and what they do. And I'm probably the best guy to ask.
Crystal, his name's Brandon. You might have to go to the press conference to get his last name, but JLR must have turned this over to the police. And the police said that some of their tips came from a very credible source. It was one of the people. It's got to be this interview.
Because I was there around them the most at that time.
Did you feel detectives think you did something, or was it, were they hard on you and questioning? Were they making you feel like you're guilty of something?
Well, they were pretty stern, you know. They wanted to get to the bottom of it, and they kind of interrogated me, and they were pretty rough and, aggressive with it. And I said, listen, guys, I didn't do it at all. And if they're saying that this happened and that they did it, they know more about it than I did, because when I was around them, they didn't act that way. So they're like, okay. And then from there, it's just been kind of like, they hit me hard and I told them everything I know. And then it's been a standstill.
No, the police are looking for him. They wanted him to, oh, Shurtliff. Oh, I thought you were making a joke about him being shirtless. They want to talk to him. They haven't talked to him yet.
And we're just trying to see like who all was even at that point in time in history.
So you're not nervous at all? Are you nervous about being arrested at all or anything?
Yeah, that definitely crosses my mind every day, you know, and I know that if I go back to Idaho, I'll be arrested immediately. And, you know, they're going to talk about me about my marijuana charges, probably do 20, 30 days in jail myself if I go back. And then from there.
So you have pending charges in Idaho?
Yeah, I have pending charges in Idaho just from probation and like possession of marijuana. And that's what I was in trouble with those guys for before.
I appreciate your honesty with that. Appreciate your honesty. Yeah. So you're not going to go back there and try to settle it, or do you think they're going to extradite you, try to scoop you up there where you're at?
I think for now it's just a basis of I need to get back to work and get some money because I still owe them money on those charges.
Yeah.
So I kind of just came here trying to get to work because the other people I was working for, it was hard to get paid and pay all my bills on time. So I'm just trying to find a solution to make it peaceful for everyone and kind of find out what's going on here and get to the bottom of it. That's what's on my mind right now.
Did detectives ask you about any other names besides the Wondras? They say any names?
The biggest names that are coming up right now on this is Stacey, Sarah, Adrien, that Garudo. Yeah, Caesar Garudo and me, and I think that's it from that very day.
No mention of Starkeys.
The Starkeys, I know that they had previous charges from stuff, whatever they did in their life before. I don't even know. But yeah, they said that they went to their house and asked them. They asked Mr. Carson Starkey and his mother that was hanging out there, and they questioned Dorothy, his ex-wife, that she can't really hear that good. She has to write everything down on paper.
Guys, to be honest with you, if I knew that I was going to go back to jail if I go to another state, but I'm not going to get arrested if I stay out of that state, you bet your ass I'm staying the fuck out of that state. So I don't blame them. Nobody wants to go to jail, even if it's for 30 days. 30 days in jail is a long time. I wouldn't go back either.
And what she heard or seen or knows or anything like that. So I know that they've been there. I know they dug up the yard, and it's a big case, big thing here.
So you've been so now you've been Googling around following this case?
Yeah, and yes, sir. And then I seen your YouTube that you put out this morning, you know what I mean? And my picture right next to those guys, and that's when it really started to hit home. And I was like, you know, I got to find everything I can do to help. I don't even care about me and my freedom anymore. I need to figure out what's going on here and stop the lying and bring the truth to everything that I can and help.
Yeah. Do you think, based off what you've been seeing, do you think any of the Vaughns are involved?
At first, my very first thought on all that, I thought, well, maybe just the mom and the dad got in a fight about custody, you know, because I got in a fight with my ex before about custody, and I know how that can go. So I thought it was just kind of like one of those things for the beginning, just who gets who, and maybe the dad came and got the kid and took him to his house, and the mom got all mad and called the cops, and that's what I thought it was from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And then my second thought from there is that he might have went missing. He might have went out from his neighborhood because he was trying to go play with other kids like that, his age, and he might have got out in that field and went too far down. There's that Snake River right there by the Ontario-Idaho border right there. So I said, I hope he didn't fall in there and didn't know how to swim, or if he swam to the other side and got lost, or who found him, or what, you know, because there's a million bazillion possibilities that could happen right here.
Yeah. Inside the Wondra house. What?
But Laura Lee, you're forgetting what the cop said. At the press conference, the cop said specifically that there's a lot more people involved. If it was an accident or something, there wouldn't be a lot more people involved. A lot more people involved mean there's something online. and that's how they're all connected. That's the only thing I can come up with of what that cop meant. And Adrien wasn't just some transient. He flew in from another state and just happened to find Sarah. How did he know what number to call? It's bullshit. They met online.
What does it look like inside there?
It's just a regular, like, double wide kind of a trailer house. Well, it's not a double wide, but it's a manufactured stick built home. Just a regular 1, 2, 3 bedroom, 2 baths, and a garage house.
Do they have a basement?
And they have a crawl space under there in their master bedroom. You walk in their master bedroom, take a right, and there's like this little crawl space right there. And I know that was open one day, and I went in there and looked, and there was like some kind of one of their cats that got down in there and pissed everywhere.
Oh, really? Why were you looking down there?
Because it was open.
Oh, you were just seeing what it was.
Yeah.
What about an attic?
No, the door was open, like they wanted their cats to go down in there or something, or like that was another. I don't know. I went in their bedroom and looked to the right one day, and then that thing was open. Their basement crawl space door.
Where's it at in their bedroom? Under their bed? Is it noticeable? Is it hidden?
It's kind of, you go in their bedroom and then you go straight into their master bedroom. There's a shower on the left, and then right when you turn to the right, there's just like this little hatch door that opens.
But if someone just you could see the hatch from the wall, or you could tell something's there. I mean, is it hidden?
It's cut into the carpet, so it's like just a big piece of carpet with like a little square kind of cut out on 2 sides, and then it comes open.
Do they have a attic?
No, sir. I don't think they do.
Is their house? What at the time you were there, was it all dirty, messy, clean?
For the most part, it's pretty messy.
I think I saw a photo of you sleeping on the couch.
Yeah, that's pretty much the main spot where I hung out, is just answered phones off the couch and went and drove taxis and went back to the couch, played PS4 and drank some beers and went to bed.
Who else was in that house that you've seen when you were there? Like anyone else that we haven't named that was inside that house ever?
I think there was like three or four people at least when I was there that came there. And this one guy, he got in trouble for like a BB gun and some knives or something like that. He went outside the house because him and another person other than Tanner got in a fight with Sarah about staying in the house and God and religion and all that. And he went cruising around the neighborhood, and he had like some kind of a knife deal. And he was threatening that if he doesn't get to come back in the house, then he's going to like slice some people up or do this and that.
What's his name?
I'm not quite sure on that. It was just some guy that was kind of walking the streets of Ontario.
And they brought him to the house.
Yes, sir. Yeah, he was like a homeless guy in Ontario that they met one day, and they just brought him back to his house.
Interesting. It does seem like it goes into a pattern of them just bringing people off the streets, or, people just, they feel like they want to help and bringing strangers into their home.
Yeah. So if something did happen, it happened like that. You know what I mean? Just people that you don't even know who the hell they are or what they're doing or what their motives are, and they just bring them in like their family. You know what I mean?
What were they all like? Would you all eat dinner together? Who cooked? Like, did everybody fend for themselves?
No, Sarah. We'd go out shopping, Sarah and I, and then we'd come home and she'd cook a nice meal for Stacey and I and her and whoever was over there for a guest. That was the usual behavior.
Did Sarah use profanity?
She tried not to, but when she got really super mad, yes, sir, she was good at it.
What would she get mad about?
She'd just get mad about her house not being perfectly clean, or things not being the way that she wanted them to be, and just a lot of OCD. She had a lot of OCD and things being just how she left them.
Would she get mad at others or mad at herself?
No, mad at others.
Because like Stacey would leave something out and she would get mad.
Yeah.
So
right.
So have you seen them arguing with each other?
Yeah, almost every day. She'd go around and he'd be making messes and she'd be cleaning it up and getting after him, trying to whap him with a pot and a pan, just like, you son of a bitch, clean your shit up or get gone.
So you seen her hit him with pots and pans?
Well, she didn't actually hit him, but if
Right.
I would have been her, hit him, because sometimes he makes messes and he just don't care and he's kind of
Does
like
that
a little
work on
pig.
teenagers?
Just kind of really sloppy.
Did you ever see her actually hit him or him hit her?
No, they never did that when I was there. They were just like, they'd just talk back and forth, kind of getting like, oh, I love you, little Boo Bear. I love you, little Boo Bear. And they'd be back and forth. And they were just like jokesters, kidsters.
Did she actually try to hit on you, or is that true or no?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, she liked me. She was trying to get at me pretty good there for a long time. And I said, hey, listen, you're married. You know what I mean? We can't even be on the same couch chilling together doing this and that. And I'm not going to give you and Stacey a kid. And I'm not going to do that. I'll help you guys do taxi. And other than that, I'm going home. And that's what made him mad.
She actually said she wanted you to give them a kid.
Well, she said that before, and like when they were hanging out in Vegas, living in Vegas, that she said that she tried to do that with somebody else before, and they wanted to know if I'd be able to do that for them. And I said, yeah, probably not.
Interesting. What were they doing in Vegas?
I think they just went over there and they had some friends or doing taxis over there.
I think Stacey might have a sister or a relative that lives in Vegas. You know anything about that?
No, sir, not to my knowledge.
So
I know that.
No, go ahead.
I know that they went over there and they did like a long distance taxis. That's like how they made their best money, because instead of like hundreds of dollars, it goes to thousands of dollars. So
Yeah.
that's how they make their better money traveling across country.
Yeah, because right after, okay, for one other question about you. So you done no sexual stuff with Sarah ever?
Well, at one time or another, we were just kind of like hanging out, laying on a mattress. She was trying to make out with me, this or that, and kind of like fill me up a little bit. And I said, whoa, slow down. You're already married, So from there, that was about the part.
So she's doing this while she's playing the God card, religious card.
Right. Yeah.
And
that's why I don't like religion. It puts a bad taste in my mouth and others. It's like, you can't do stuff like that if you're going to pretend like you're holier than thou,
Yeah. Now, do you know anything about their trip to Texas in like around, I guess, a couple months after Michael Vaughan went missing? They went to Texas?
No, sir. I know nothing about that recent. Now, I do recall them saying something about that previously where Sarah lived in Texas with another man.
Okay.
Now, I don't know nothing about that, but I know it was kind of like not a good deal.
So it's my belief that Sarah was once married prior to Stacey. I believe it was to a last name of a guy named Chambers.
Yep, that might be him.
Ricky Chambers, I believe.
Yep, I think that sounds right.
So he does have ties to Texas and Arkansas and Oregon. So maybe that's why she was there. I don't know. Did she ever talk about her ex-husband?
She talked about him a couple times about like how she wanted to get out of there, and then he got mad one time and kind of locked her in a room and they were fighting way back in the day before I knew her. That's all I heard about it.
When and where did Stacey get married to, or Stacey and Sarah get married? Where? When and where?
I think they got married somewhere in Montana, and just like not too much. They were only married for a year or two before I met Stacey. And then after that, he was like, hey, you want to come to my house and hang out and bring the barbecuer in and meet my wife and we'll have a good time. Like I think his grandpa taught him and instilled like some family values into him. So Stacey's a good guy when he don't lie, but he's got some kind of fetal alcohol syndrome, which prevents him from being normal.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing.
So what month and year did you meet Stacey?
I probably met him in like 2020 or 2019, something like that, a couple years back. And then I helped him with this. There was this other gentleman, his name was Labor Dave, and he had a lawn mowing business and a furniture moving business. And that's where we met, is when I was a U-Haul driver and I helped go around and move everybody's furniture, me and him.
What
and
town was that in?
That was probably in like Boise, Idaho.
Okay, so you met him in Boise.
Yeah.
According to his court stuff, he got out of jail or prison or jail in May of 2020.
Yep. So right after he got out, just a little bit after he got out, that's when I met him. And I thought he was just a normal person, but comes to find out, the more you hang out with him every day, stuff started to get weird from there.
Like what weird?
Like just daily activities and daily.
Now, I don't know Idaho law, but if they really thought he was involved in the murder, they could cross state lines. That's what I don't understand. If he's got a warrant, I think they can cross state lines to pick up someone on a warrant. If they thought he was involved in murder, I don't know why they can't go talk to him.
Behavior. He tried to be a businessman, but he tried to take on more than he could. He tried to bite off more than he could chew. You know what I'm saying? So he tried to say, hey, we're going to go out here and we're going to buy this storage shed and we're going to move it all here. And then we'll resell it and we'll make good money and it'll be good for the family. You guys ready to go out and do that? And then when it came time to doing the work, you'd find just me and Sarah trying to scoop things up. And he'd be like, come on, guys. I can't walk around right now because my feet hurt because I'm overweight.
Wow, interesting. Yeah.
He'd make you feel bad for the guy. And then you're like, well, shit, I'll give you a hand. And then after that, you're just getting looped into one thing and another. And then it's just, he just never stops being, he's ambitious, but he can't do that much because he's overweight. So I tried to get him skinnier and I tried to say, hey, let's go out and get out of the house, get off the couch, quit eating chips. You're going to die soon. You're going to freaking die if you don't quit eating, man. You got to get some exercise or your heart's literally going to stop beating.
Yeah, I feel you, dude. I feel you. I saw what he looks like and whatnot. What is his habits? Like, what does he like to do for fun?
That's a good thing you bring up there. He likes to just watch TV and eat junk food and not really do a whole lot of nothing other than talk on the phone.
Talk on the phone to who?
Whoever he can find that'll listen to him.
Interesting. Did he have an iPhone or an Android?
He had one of those iPhones, like a iPhone 12, 13, 14. He always loved his little iPhone.
Do you know if he had AT&T, Verizon? What phone network did he say he had?
I think he was with Verizon when he started his new company, and then he went with those guys, and then the bill got up in excess of $15,000-$20,000.
Wow.
And then from there, he couldn't pay it. And he said, oh, no, what do I do? Can you help me with my bills? And I said, well, sure. Let's look at the bill. How big is it? And you look at it and it's like 20 grand. And he's just on there buying like new little phones and this and that. And, he's always taken on more than he can handle. And that was the biggest issue with me and Stacey.
Yeah. Did he ever talk about kids?
Not really. Not usually, no.
He had a $20,000 bill. What could you get for a child on the black market? A blonde-haired boy goes for a lot of money. A lot.
That's why this strikes me as strange. The only time that happened is like once or twice during the whole 1 or 2 years that I was there. And he's like, I'd like to have a kid for when I pass away, because it'd make my wife happy. Just like you guys are saying on your video or whatever. That is true. It's confirmed.
So the videos that I've put out that you've seen, what is not true that you've seen that you noticed that with me covering this case, what is not true?
The only thing that upset me or kind of got to me a little bit is the whole part about me and my Montana friends or whatever. That's Guthrie Builders, and he does a good job. He builds houses and does siding and stuff. And me and him are great friends. We have been for years. But one day he got in a bad situation where someone was trying to take his life too, and he tried to steal one of my pickups that I owned. It was like a 01 Ford or something. And then from there, me and him got mad, but then we kind of put it behind us and we got past it a little bit. But now me and him are best friends and we wish to build in the future and help the community out. And I just didn't want something like that coming in between it all.
Understandable. And have you watched my other videos about covering this case?
I don't know. I just seen the one that you put out today, this morning or whatever. And honestly, I think it's pretty good. You do a pretty good job.
Yeah,
So
well, I'm still suspect of you, but I still appreciate you speaking, and it puts more like you got nothing to hide, right? You got nothing to hide by
Right.
sharing all this, because usually what
Yes.
the experience with people have done things, unless you're psychotic and you just are guilty and you're just acting like you're not. And there's people out there like that, like Chris Watts. There's other cases that, he goes right in front of the cameras and says he didn't do it, whatever. But you're willing to talk. You're willing to share your side. And,
Yes, sir.
people will have a different perspective about this, because there's millions of people following this case.
Holy smokes. Yeah, I can only imagine if someone would have took my kid, what it would have done to my heart. You know what I mean? Like, I have a kid of my own, and I only have one. She's 10. She's like 5 years older than him. And I got a nephew that's like the same age as him, 5 or 6. And this kid has the same birthday as me, June 24th.
Oh, wow.
So it's not just something that affects me a little bit. It affects me a lot every day, and I think about it, and I can't stop thinking about it. So it's like I need to tell who's lying and who's not. And I think that Stacey is a liar, and he just says stuff to attract attention because he wants to be the cool guy, and because he has a low self-esteem because he's a bigger guy. And I love Stacey, I love Sarah, but I'm not proud about what they've done and what they do. And if they are involved, they need to come forward. And if they're not, we need to find out who really did do this, because it's not just something little.
Well said, Brandon. I appreciate the conversation. Let's talk again in the future. I'm going to share what we discussed. I'm going to share this so people can get a perspective of your thoughts and what transpired that day. Maybe people will give feedback with questions, and then I'll be able to follow up with some questions that people ask. I try to think of as many questions as I can ask you, you know what I mean? But I don't know all the questions, or I might have forgot questions, and there might.
All right, Snooper, what's the name of that video? What's the name of the video? I see he's done a lot of Idaho stuff. I don't see another video. Hey, Tommy. I see this video 6 days ago, and then all I see is Idaho. Oh, it's on his other channel? Why would he put it on his other channel? I see one breaking arrest. I don't know. Someone said it's this great video, but I don't see it anywhere. Unless it was from 3 hours ago or 4 hours ago. Yeah, but he wouldn't have put this on another channel, I don't believe. He has like a couple of 3 and 4 minute videos. But I don't see where you're talking about a boss. Yeah, I don't see anywhere you're talking about, though. I'm looking and looking and looking, and there's nothing. I noticed you disappear now, too. Yeah, I haven't eaten on that side in almost a year. Thank you, K-Rox. I love feeling appreciated. Yeah, I don't know. Someone kept saying that there's an interview with, Brandon's, whatchamacallit, Brandon's boss or something. There's nothing. No, I know we posted 25 minutes ago. Did you see the Cash App stuff I put in Discord? No, I did not. You need a bath. I looked. There is nothing. I'm even looking at both of them. There's nothing. There's nothing here. You calling the police? Bye. No, that one I know. But if you go back, somebody kept saying, Snoop or something, kept saying that there were tons of videos. I mean, there was a video from the boss. Yeah. Phone call from the boss. I can't find it. And Snooper just miraculously disappeared. Let me try this way. Jonathan Richards, phone call with boss. Neighbor Donna Canda. Yeah, there's no phone call with the boss. It could be deleted because there's nothing here. It may have been deleted or it never existed in the first place. He posted for brand. Yeah, I saw that. I could play that.
Jonathan Lee Riches. Investigates. I am covering the Michael Vaughan case out of Fruitland, Idaho. Michael Vaughan, he's been missing since July 27th, 2021. Where is Michael Vaughan? You heard the press conference today. Fruitland Police Chief Huff said 4 individuals are involved with the Michael Vaughan disappearance. Stacey and Sarah Wondra, a Adrien, and a Brandon Shurtliff. And I want to talk about Brandon Shurtliff. As some of you might or might not know, I interviewed Brandon Shurtliff last week, almost a week ago. And he explained a lot and he shared a lot about where he was at around the time Michael Vaughan went missing in association with the Wondras. And I threw that interview up on YouTube. Anyone can go check it out. Now, since I heard the police chief today announce that they were looking for Brandon Shurtliff, I actually went back to my Facebook Messenger where I had a conversation with Brandon to reach out to him, to tell him to turn himself in. And I'm going to show you my correspondence with Brandon today. Check it out. All right, so this is Brandon Shurtliff. He saw the photograph that I sent him about him being wanted. I actually said to him, "Hi, Brandon, dude, talk to me. You are wanted. Let me talk some sense into you, please. Don't ruin your life, dude. I'm concerned for you." Tried video chatting with him. I'm going to try video chatting with him again. I want to encourage him to turn himself into Fruitland. I want him to turn himself into Fruitland police. Maybe he will listen. He needs to turn himself in. He's not. So he didn't answer. Brandon didn't answer the Facebook Messenger. I tried to video chat with him. Did not answer. So about 3 or 4 minutes later, I went back into Messenger, and this is what I saw. Brandon blocked me. Brandon blocked me. So he is gone. He doesn't want to speak to me ever again. He gave me an interview last week, so he's not happy right now, or he's trying to hide. He's wanted. I tried to encourage him to turn himself in, to do what's right. I was trying to talk to him, trying to talk some sense into him. You know, it seems like Brandon is a family man. He has a family, you know, that looks like they love him. And when I say a family man, there is pictures with Brandon with 2 children, like he has children. So trying to put some sense into him. You know, I'm not going to be mad that he lied to me in the video. Maybe he told the truth in the video. Maybe there's something we don't know. I don't know. All I was doing is just trying to encourage Brandon to turn himself into authorities and cooperate. Subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button. If you haven't been following my channel, go back and look at the Wondras. I've been posting a lot of videos about Stacey and Sarah Wondra, putting their name out there, putting Michael's name in a spotlight. Hopefully authorities find Michael Vaughan soon. Praying for his family, praying for the...
Yeah, I think I was trolled before because there's no video. He doesn't mention it. He doesn't say he got a call from the boss. So yeah, I think we were trolled before. Just saying. So now you guys see why I have my theory of why I think that this was an online ring, that he was targeted. Maybe Michael showed up at the door and they put him in the crawl space. I don't know. But the police swear that he was buried on the lawn, which all the cops running around there, I don't even see how that's possible. How could he get away with like digging up a hole in the backyard and nobody noticed? With all the cops there, you're not going to check a newly fresh hole in the backyard? That don't make sense to me. That's why I'm a little sketchy about what the police said. Because if he was buried in the backyard, you didn't notice that someone had brand new hole in the backyard? So close to the house? You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't add up. Did say the hole buried in the backyard was bullshit. I don't know. No, the cops said that they would, you know, the dogs pit on it. So it can't be bullshit. You just jumped down. The cops are the ones that said that when they buried the backyard. So I don't know. I don't know. But if you missed it earlier, my theory is that this was an online ring. And that Adrien person came there specifically. There you are, Snooper. What's the name of the video? I was just about to shut down. I can't. What's the name of the video? Unless you're a mod, a link won't work. Just tell me the name of the video. There you go. That's the name of the video. JLR, there you go. All right, hold on. Jonathan Lee Richards, there you go. Comes up nothing. There is no Jonathan Lee Richards. There you go. Yeah, who's on first? What's on second? I'll wait. Okay, what's the name of the video? I know you were saying there you go, but what's the name of the video? Breaking Sarah Wanda. Okay. All right.
How you guys doing? Good afternoon here in Florida.
All right, we're going to put this on double speed.
Florida. 11/23/2022. We are going to discuss some very interesting information. This is, I would call this bombshell information, as far as if you are following the Michael Vaughan case. This puts a lot in perspective. This is big. This is big, and I'm going to share this information with everyone today. I'm covering this case. A lot of you have been seeing my videos on the Michael Vaughan case, but I have to share this information. This information was also shared with the Fruitland Police Department, but there's a lot of things going on right now with this case, and I'm going to put it in perspective here. I don't even know where to start. First off, I made a video about this guy here. I'm going to.
Can I just ask you guys a question? Why does he, every single video, he wears something that says press and media? Why?
Show you guys right now this guy here, and this is who we're talking about. Brandon Shurtliff, and you notice he has a Domino's pizza hat, right? His name is Brandon Shurtliff. He is an associate of the Wondras. He is an associate of the Wondras, and he's in a picture there with the Wondras. He's also here. This picture was taken a few months before Michael Vaughan went missing. Sarah Wondra, Stacey Wondra, Cesar Garudo, Brandon Shurtliff right there. Irony of it is, he has another picture with a girl in that same kind of situation. This is not Sarah Wondra, but this is Brandon Shurtliff. And you notice it's kind of eerily similar, right? Kind of eerily similar. So we're going to talk about Shurtliff. Why am I going to talk about Shurtliff? Because I communicated with Shurtliff. I communicated with Brandon Shurtliff, and he shared with me a lot about the Michael Vaughan case, a lot. How did I get to Shurtliff? Well, a lot of it is because of y'all out there, right? Y'all out there, I get kudos and respect. You guys send me all kinds of good information. You guys see that we're trying to find out what happened to Michael Vaughan and trying to bring public awareness so people can come forward and share information and let law enforcement know and whatnot. And I really appreciate.
Can someone tell me where he gets his money? That's some nice furniture behind him, and it looks like a pretty nice fucking house. Where does an ex-con like him get all his money? I'm just curious. And it's not e-begging.
Appreciate the tips that you people have been sending me. Shurtliff's boss sent me an email yesterday, right? Shurtliff's boss sent me an email yesterday. And I'm going to tell you, without getting into really specific details, because I want to keep this conversation between me and the boss. But he has no problem with me sharing this information, right? Because then it led me to Shurtliff, right? Because he saw Shurtliff's boss saw the video that I posted on my timeline about the pizza guy, right? The Domino's pizza. Shurtliff is with the Wondras. He has a Domino's pizza hat. I made a video. We all know the day Michael was reported missing that Tyler went in the back room and he called Domino's Pizza. He called Domino's Pizza in that time frame and whatnot. So I just thought that was crazy because Sarah Wandra's arrested and she's with a guy with a Domino's Pizza hat, right? So I posted that video and said, hey, who is this Shurtliff guy? I posted some mugshots of him. He does have a criminal past. Who is he, right? So I get an email. I get an email from a gentleman in Montana, a gentleman in Livingston, Montana, coincidentally where
he's actually never won a lawsuit.
Stacey Wondra, Sarah's husband, used to live in Livingston, Belgrade, Montana, both those areas, whatever. So the boss said, and I'll share some of this information. He sent me an email. He said, my name is, and I have known Brandon Shurtliff since 2010. Haven't seen him since 2015 and recently asked to move here and work for my company. We do certain work and I needed some help. Had no idea about any of this stuff until 2 weeks ago. He has now left and I've been watching this on YouTube and 7 News and I'm mind blown at some of the stuff I've seen and heard him say in the 3 recent months he was working for me. I want to help. Maybe some stuff is nothing, but maybe can help in some kind of way. Thanks for what you do. And I responded back to him, hello, what do you mean he left? He responds, said he was headed to his dad's house in North Dakota. Ever since the detective has talked to him, he became more erratic and always pacing and never focusing on his job at work. And I said probably he'd be good idea this handwriting's a little bit bad here, due to the fact that some comments that were made while I was questioning whether he was involved in any of it. I wanted him out of my place. I've been watching news clips from YouTube and the internet, and I spoke with the detective while Brandon was here. And me and him and his family and his roommate have just been on edge. Something didn't seem right about him. The more like he was having a breakdown. I could talk to you about things he said, and he's always was crazy. And now since he's like Bundy, man, he's a psychopath and effing crazy, just like the stranger I remember from years ago. Okay, so I'll share that for now. A worker hadn't seen Brandon Shurtliff in years. And then just recently in the summer, at the end of the summer, Shurtliff contacted him and said, I need a job. Can I work for you? And this employer said, sure, you can work for me, right? So he's working in Livingston, Montana. Shurtliff is in Livingston, Montana for the last 4 or 5 months. He said 2 weeks ago, detectives came up there to speak to Shurtliff about the Vaughan case, So then after the detectives left, he said Shurtliff was acting all crazy and everything like that, and said, I got to get out of here. And he left and he went up to his father's house in North Dakota. So I vetted all this information. It is in fact true. And I will explain why, because I reached out to Brandon. I have a conversation with here on Facebook Messenger with Brandon. And this is where the bombshell information comes out. This is where Brandon shares all kinds of stuff about that day Michael Vaughan went missing. You need to listen to this, please, because it's very, very important. And I pass this information over to law enforcement because sometimes these people, whether they're witnesses, suspects, persons of interest, or whatnot, they might not talk to the authorities, but they might talk to regular citizens about things, right? So, I did my due diligence, and after the conversation, I documented it and I handed it over to authorities, the proper thing to do. Whether authorities already know about him, they obviously do. You wouldn't just travel all the way up. With Livingston to Fruitland is 9 hours, by the way, because Stacey Wondra used to live in that area, and I did the Google Maps. So you don't just travel 9 hours away to talk to somebody unless there's something big, right? Something big about the situation, right? So Brandon just breaks down to me, right? I'm going to share here. I'm going to show you real quick his profile, so you guys know I spoke to him. This is Brandon. He goes by this alt here, Brando Johnny Shurtliff thing. You click on his profile. Let's click on his profile and just show you his profile. I'm going to show you his profile. It's coming up. Here we go. So this is him. This is Shurtliff's profile. This is Shurtliff. That is Shurtliff. There's his friends list. Here, y'all can see it. There is the URL to his thing. So you know that this is a real conversation that I had with him. And I'm going to read this conversation, right? I'm going to read this. This is important, right? So I flat out just said, dude, we need to talk. Where is Michael Vaughan? Are you involved? Yes or no? Respectfully, Jonathan Riches. He responds, or someone on his account responds, but I'm assuming it's him. No, I have never met that kid before. That's what he responds. No, I have never met that kid before. So then I respond to him. Did detectives speak with you? He responds, yes. I said, when? He goes, last week, I believe. I said, who did it? Did Sarah do it? Stacey? Why did detectives come see you? This is a 6-year-old boy. And I put it all in capitalization, capital letters. I don't believe either one of those guys would have done it either. I know it was their neighbor. I know it was their neighbor. That is all. He goes, I know it was their neighbor. That is all. So he goes, I don't believe either.
Deborah, it's funny that you say that because I was thinking that too. I'm like, you know what? What if that scent of human remains? What if that's not Monkey? What if that's somebody else that was buried there or another kid that was buried there? Like maybe that's part of the ring. Maybe they're killing kids all over the place. So I had that thought too.
One of those two guys did it. I know it was their neighbor. That's all. So he says that Stacey and Sarah didn't do it, but he knows it is a neighbor. That's what coming from Shurtliff. I said, which neighbor? Please help me. Then he says the boy's parents. And that's where I was like, what? I said, you think the boy's parents did it? And then he responds, at first I did, but found out they didn't know where he went either. So I don't understand that. First he's pointing fingers to the parents, and then he's saying, I thought he did it. He thought he did at first. And then he said, he doesn't know. So I said, so who did it? Were you the pizza driver working there that day? He said, I don't know. I think someone stole him from over by his neighborhood. That's what he says. I don't know. I think someone stole him from over by his neighborhood. I said, how do you know the Wondras? And then he responds back to my question, were you the pizza delivery driver that day? No, I just drove taxis for the Wondras when they were somewhat sensible. That's what he said to me. I just drove taxis for the Wondras when they were somewhat sensible. I said, anything helps, dude. I'm told you went to North Dakota. He then responds, I first met Stacey during furniture moving jobs. I said, did you work for Domino's Pizza? He goes, yes, I did for a year or so. And then he responds to me about going to North Dakota. He says, yeah, to see family for the holidays. Thank you, Beverly Harris. I appreciate that. God bless you. So then he says, I know Carson wouldn't do something like that. He is supposed to be fixing my car, man. So now he's saying that Carson didn't do anything about it or didn't do anything with this. And he's fixing his car. I said, where were you the day Michael went missing? He said, I went to tow my car with Stacey and Sarah that day. And earlier that day, Sarah took me to lunch. So the day Michael Vaughan was missing, Brandon Shurtliff, that guy in the car, for all you people jumping on, is claiming that on the day Michael Vaughan went missing, he was with Stacey and Sarah to tow his car. And Sarah took him to lunch. That's what he's saying. I said, was Sarah in the hospital around that time or leaving the hospital? He responds, I remember her saying she was going to go there with Stacey one day. I said, what about the evening time? Where were you all? He said, right when we came back towing my car behind their pickup, everyone was out there looking for the missing boy. And then he says, and then Sarah and I went out to look in her car once we got back to their house. So he's claiming that around the time Michael went missing, the first time they started searching, he's saying he is arriving back to that neighborhood with his car being towed by the Wonders pickup truck. And then he and Sarah went out to look in the car once they got back to their house, once they got back to the Wonders. Then I respond, do you know the Bonds? He said, I personally never met them in my life before. I only seen their picture on the YouTube video. I respond, this is a missing kid, dude. He goes, yes, I understand that. It's not good at all. And then I said, know anyone you think could have done this? He responds to me, not that I think of, because they only had a few people around when I was there. And I said, you know, Sarah was arrested. Police say others could be involved. If you are involved, please tell the truth. The first person that cooperates gets the best deal. You could be home one day, possibly. Do what's right. He responds, I know Sarah was arrested lately, yes. And also another kid that could be involved or no more possibly. So he said, I know Sarah was arrested and also another kid that could be involved and or no more possibly. I said, who is the other kid? What's that person's name? He responds to me, Cesar or something. Cesar or something. I said, really? Cesar Garudo? He goes, yeah, I believe so. They arrested him too. I said, anyone else they questioned? He goes, I don't think so. I said, have you ever met Cesar? And he said, yes, I met him one day when I was with Stacey one day. And, I wanted to see if he was lying to me because obviously there's a photo of him, those four in a car together just a few months before Michael Vaughan went missing. They were in a car together, right? I said, the day Michael went missing, I said, who is Adrien? No, because that he drove over to some place he was staying, I believe. Adrien was a friend of Stacey and Sarah, had over for about a week. So he's claiming Adrien is a guy that was friends with Stacey and Sarah that was over at that house for a week. I said, what's his last name? He goes, I don't recall if he ever told me. I said, is he black or white? He said black. And I asked that because I've narrowed down who Adrien could be, and it just validates who I think Adrien is, right? So I asked him, is he black or white? He said black. I said, he seemed pretty chill with me the whole time he was there. So then I show him a profile picture of a guy, right? And I'm going to show you this to you right now. So we're talking about he seemed pretty chill. Then I say, this guy. And then he goes, I don't think that's him. That guy looks different. So then I send him additional photos. I said, this guy. He goes, the yellow shirt guy looks like him. Then I sent him a mugshot. I said, him? Yeah, it kind of looks like him from there. So he's validating that the guy is Adrien Hernandez, who is in jail, by the way. Adrien Hernandez, you can look him up. He's in jail for drug charges in that area right now. He's in jail, right? I said, did police take anything from you? He goes, no. I said, did you work at the Fruitland or Domino's, Ontario Domino's? Did you work at the Fruitland or Ontario Domino's? He goes, Fruitland. I said, I know you must be scared right now. I get it. Police are all over there looking for who did it. He goes, yeah, it's very crazy, scary ordeal. So he's admitting that it's a crazy, scary ordeal. I said, did you stay with the Wondras the night Michael went missing? He responds, yes. He responds, he was there the night Michael went missing. I said, who else was there? When did you leave? He goes, me, Stacey, Sarah, and that was all, I believe, and I think I left the next day. I said, dude, seriously, if you are involved, go clean with the police immediately. It will be so much better for you. First person to make the deal gets the best deal. People are going to spend the rest of their lives in prison for this. He goes, I didn't do anything to a kid, especially one I've never met. I said, they do not like kid murderers in prison. He goes, I'm sure they don't. I said, where could Michael be? I said, this is national news now. And he goes, and I hope if anyone did do anything to this kid, they go to hell forever and DIE. That's what he says in all caps. I said, does your family know what's going on? He goes, yes. I said, why was Adrien staying there? He goes, to go visit his girlfriend and baby, I believe. I said, and then he just went ghost. He just went ghost last night. This was a conversation back and forth. I was trying to get more questions out of him. I wanted to know about how did you meet the Wondras? I sent him, I said, the day Michael went missing, did police bring dogs to the Wondras' house? He never responded. So then I sent him a message this morning. More information is coming out, Brandon. Please come clean. Your mother, Tina, loves you. And then he goes, like what? And yes, sir, I know. I'm pretty sure if I met you in real life, we would probably get along. So he's like, if you met me in real life, we'd probably get along. No. I love her, and I am worried that these lying, sick people are going to be putting me and my mother in the middle of all this. She never even hung out with those sorry people. So that is the conversation I had with Brandon Shurtliff. He admitted to me, one, he was in the area Michael Vaughan went missing. He's with Stacey and Sarah Wondra, staying at their house. He was towing his car or getting his car towed with the Wondras. He took Sarah out to lunch that day, or Sarah took him out to lunch. They went out to lunch together. He's there in the area. He's admitting to it. He was in the area. What does that mean? What does that mean? Because Sarah Wondra gets arrested, charged with failing to report a death to law enforcement. And, Police Chief Huff thinks others are involved. Well, this guy who's seen in pictures with him, and I'll show you who he is again. He's the pizza guy. He's the pizza guy. Are the prime suspects in this case, with Adrien being a wild card. So five individuals. He said he does not think Starkey is involved. And Starkey, I don't know if Starkey's involved or not, but Starkey has been sending me messages insisting that he's not involved, insisting that he didn't do anything. And he's saying he's not under investigation for whatever. But right now, Brandon is freaking out
freaking out. His employee who reached out to me is saying he's panicking. He just bounced. He went up to North Dakota. So I don't know what he's going to do next. And maybe, I don't know if authorities know where he's at right now, but they traveled 9 hours to speak to him. And he admitted that they came. They traveled all the way out of state to talk to him last week. So it seems like around the 12th of November, when Sarah gets arrested and they warrant the house, it seems like that's when everything started snowballing, when they got that information, who fed them that information to lead police to that house, to search that house. Was it Stacey, who is facing federal charges and plea, according to court documents, plea negotiations, second time going around, felon in possession of a firearm. Is he making a deal? Is he telling them what's going on? Was it Adrien? It seems like it's Adrien Hernandez is the guy. He's currently incarcerated on drug charges. Is he trying to make a deal? Or is it Garudo? Is it Cesar Garudo, who's already in jail on crimes dealing with children, right? This Cesar Garudo guy, who I already did a video about. So if you haven't checked out that video, check that video out. Garudo is already serving time, or he's in jail right now on charges of doing something to a minor. But, I don't even want to get into Garudo because there's something that's close to home to me in Tampa. If you guys been following Garudo, or someone else that came forward that brought them to their house. But this Shurtliff is right there in the area that day. He is right in the area. And he's also the pizza guy. Was he the pizza guy that day? I think it's awfully weird that Tyler calls Domino Pizza, and Brandy said it out of her own mouth, Domino's Pizza. They called Domino's Pizza that day. And Shurtliff used to work for Domino's Pizza. But he didn't tell me that he was working for Domino's that day. He was acting like, or he claims to me that they were towing a vehicle. The Wondras were towing his car to that neighborhood around the time Michael Vaughan went missing. And when they got to that neighborhood, people were already out looking for Michael Vaughan. They went to the house, and then him and Sarah, I guess he said, what did he say? Him and Sarah went out looking or went to their car or something. But then he stayed at the Wondra house that night. So I think these details right now is something we all have never heard of before, right? And it puts Shurtliff and it puts them in the area at the time. So according to Shurtliff, Sarah and Stacey Wondra were both in that area that day, right? We really were in the dark about this, right? We were really in the dark about this. So I appreciate the people that have been sending me this information. And of course, I sent this information to law enforcement. I think they know. I think law enforcement knows. I think they're just in that situation. They have to find Michael first. And then once they find Michael, then heads are going to roll on this, right? But I do think if they're not, they should be keeping an eye on the Shurtliff guy. And it seems like he's in total panic mode and he could run off. He went up to North Dakota. He claims his mom knows, or he claims his family knows. And I can say that the boss that used to work for him, or the boss that Shurtliff used to work for him, is claiming to me that, the family is aware, his own family. So you got to think, and I looked on his family's profile, and I'm not going to share his family's profiles here because they're probably not involved at all and totally innocent. And the mother looks like a very nice person, according to, their Facebook posts and stuff. So I feel bad for the mother because she's probably freaking out. What is going on here? What did you get involved with? What do you know? And throwing a lot of pressure on this guy. This guy is I think he's 30 years old. So he's not a kid. But, his family's probably just laying it to him right now, wherever he's at. And I assume that his parents probably won't let him stay there much longer. And it's probably going to be a miserable Thanksgiving for him and his family because he claims he went up there for his Thanksgiving, right? And you go to Thanksgiving, you go travel with your family, you spend, things. But if this situation is hanging over your head, how are you going to sit there and eat turkey and stuffing and have like a good family get together? And with all this lingering over, knowing that, your own son or your own family member has done something very bad, I looked into Adrien. Again, he's in jail on drug charges. But according to Shurtliff, that's the guy. That's the Adrien that Sarah claims buried Michael in back of their yard with Stacey. So, authorities know this. I'm sure they went and talked to him, whatever like that. But you notice no one else is arrested at this time. No one else is arrested for this on anything actually, besides the failing to report, a death to law enforcement, which is a 10-year. No one else is in, arrested for the actual crime at this time. So why? I think the only reason why is they're waiting for Michael to be found. And then once Michael's found and they can confirm their human remains, and I don't mean to sound gross on that, just like they just did with Quentin Simon, take the remains up to Quantico in Virginia, the FBI lab, and evaluate. And once it's determined human remains, I think charges start coming up instantly. But until that, we don't know. But it's just they were in the neighborhood at the time, and Shurtliff is insisting he's innocent. But I just think, he's in panic mode. I was surprised he was talked to me. I'm surprised he talked to me. I was a little bit shocked like that. Hopefully, he does what's right if he is involved or if he knows who did this, just do the Vaughan family a favor and, just confess, man, confess. Or if his family's watching, get your son to confess. Go to law enforcement, man, and turn yourself in. Stop dragging this nightmare out. Just let them know what you know. Any Shurtliff's friends that are watching, I'm sure they're watching my videos because I posted a lot of stuff on this. And the people that have been sending me tips and information about these people are people that watch these YouTube videos. So it does bring public awareness. And
I can't take any more, but I do have to go get Phoenix. So I know I said that my new time slot, I was going to go back to 8:30. I actually have to do 7:30 because if I got to pick up Phoenix at 9 from work until he starts driving again, I'm always going to cut it out. So 7:30 is the new time slot. Not 8:30, 7:30. All right. He does go on and on. Honestly, I really didn't need to watch that video. I got nothing out of it. I was falling asleep. So, yeah. But thank you, Snoopy. But I got to go get my boy. I will see you guys tomorrow. Hit that thumb up on the way out. And, yeah. Thank you guys for the Cash Apps. Definitely appreciated. Hey, Lola. I'm glad you enjoyed it. But again, I really, truly, if that was my child, I would give Sarah free immunity. I won't press charges. Let her go. Tell me where my son is. I don't totally believe the cops have as much info as they claim. It could be a tactic, but I just don't think they have that much. I really don't. Cops talk a good game because they don't want the public scared or they don't want the public worried. It's part of what they do, but I just don't believe they have all that info. I really don't. Just my opinion. I could be wrong. I got no problem admitting I'm wrong when I'm wrong, but that's what I think. Just saying. So JLR, thank you for a great interview. I got to put this out there. Thank you for the great interview. I think normally, I don't like you, but that interview specifically, you did really well. So thank you for a good interview. Oh, by the way, did you guys hear Brian Enton? I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked. Brian Enton was on Law and Crime. Did anyone watch it? If you didn't watch it, the guy was so cute. Whoever was interviewing Brian Enton, oh man, he was adorable. Woohoo! Kind of had that John Travolta look. But seriously, Brian Enton was doing this interview with Law and Crime. And Law and Crime said something about online or YouTubers or internet sleuths. Brian Enton actually turned around and said, look, internet sleuths have solved crimes. Internet sleuths find stuff that the police don't. Something like that. But he really gave credit to YouTubers. I was like, wow, nice job, Brian. Not just YouTubers, like Reddit, everywhere. Internet sleuths, people that look into stuff. And I couldn't believe he said it. He's like, yeah, these internet sleuths, they're good. They solve crime. They've actually solved cases. I was like, all right, Brian, woohoo. And yeah, and the guy that's interviewing him is easy on the eyes. Trust me on that. All right. I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful night. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace. Phoenix probably like, where the fuck are you? All right. I'll see you guys later.